Hi, I'm Richard Morse, Realtor Extraordinaire, and welcome to my listing at 117 Center Street in West Haven, Connecticut. This town, like most of the small towns here in Connecticut, was developed and settled between the late 1800s and the early 1900s, and it's loaded, chock full of beautiful examples of Victorian architecture. This house is a prime example. 5 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 3 full floors of living space. This house has been renovated from top to bottom by a very talented designer, me. We kept all of the original Victorian details but updated everything into this century, which is exactly what buyers want today. And in fact, we have a buyer for this property, Miss Jamie. Jamie came in here on her first walkthrough and fell in love with this property. It had everything that she was looking for. The high ceilings, all of the moldings, big bright windows, sunny rooms, all the space that you could possibly need, and it's located in the center of town, just blocks to a nice town green, blocks down to probably the nicest beach, nicest public beach in all of Connecticut. And we have a new multi-bazillion-dollar train station that'll zoom you right into New York City in less than an hour and a half. We kept the staircase, painted out all the trim with a nice bright white paint, accent, pop of color, brightens everything up. The Victorian architecture is this gorgeous, huge newel post, this nice banister, the balustrades all turned, wide moldings around all the doors, all the windows. This was another example of Victorian architecture. In the Victorian era, it was very dark, and that's no longer in style, so we painted it out to brighten it up. These are the original hardwood floors. They've been refinished. They look fantastic. Absolutely #1 on almost every single buyer's list is hardwood floors. Another example of the Victorian architecture, which is something Jamie wanted, this beautiful stained glass window. A lot of the houses, they get lost over the years. The houses don't get kept up. They're somewhat delicate, and if you have a bad storm, you don't keep the window up, you can end up losing it. And this window underneath is actually one giant pane of glass. Now, as a history buff, I'm always interested in, was it kind of like the chicken and the egg kind of thing? Did technology lead architecture, or did architecture create technology? And what I mean by that was this house, as I mentioned, was built in 1930. 50 years, 75 years, 100 years before that, they did not have the technology or the mechanics to build one window with a single pane of glass. So, in the Victorian architecture, this was technologically possible, and now this is what you get, and it's a prime example of Victorian architecture. Miss Jamie loves the size of these rooms, the high ceilings, the spacious living room, and it leads into a gorgeous formal dining room. Another original feature from the Victorian era are these beautiful pocket doors, which have been restored, and they slide away and hide away. We updated the dining room with a modern chandelier, something else that Jamie just loved. This house is huge. As I mentioned, it's got 5 bedrooms. Don't ask me what she want all them bedrooms for, and I ain't gonna ask. But the important thing is she loves the house. That concludes our tour. Thanks for joining me. I'm Richard Morse, and I'll see you at the next house.